in this crazy place where we're saying, well, how the hell do I make more money? And you're trying to figure out this like online social media game, and everybody's hopping and running to Facebook. And I say, no, no more Facebook. No more Facebook. Now, let's be honest. Facebook is not going anywhere fast. Whether they call themselves Meta, Beta, or whatever else they want to call themselves, it's irrelevant. What I do know for sure is that wherever your audience is where you should be. Let me make this very, very clear. If you own a business, if you want to own a business, if you are looking to partake in the commerce of dollars, the most overlooked place for you to go really hang out, be present, connect, engage, indulge, and create conversation. And more importantly, pass on a lead, collect a lead, and turn it into revenue. It's LinkedIn. Now, I don't want you to think that this is going to be an entire episode about LinkedIn strategy. Even though I'm going to interview the heck out of this guest, I'm going to get her to spill all of what she has around how does she develop a process and a strategy for not just upping her game, but more importantly, dominating. I really feel like I want to call her the LinkedIn queen. This is a whole different conversation. She happens to be one of our Do the Damn Thing coaches. And what's really exciting for me is I've been able to watch her go from zero to thousands and thousands of people who connect and follow her ridiculously. But more importantly, I've watched her create a global conversation literally from her office simply by changing the platform. So this is one of those moments where I'm going to say, go ahead and get a piece of paper, pen, do it all, but get ready because now we're going to build the damn thing strong. Hey, you. Welcome to Build the Damn Thing, a place where myself, Tiffany Largie, and our amazing Do the Damn Thing coaches show you how to use your story to build it all. Whether it's your first six figures, your next layer of multiple six figures, or maybe you're on your way to $1 million. And if it's not that, it's the life of your dreams, where you are free, you are strong, and you are whole. First, we're going to show you how to use your story to build a strong foundation. And then next, we're going to show you how to use your story in sales and marketing to clean up the cracks. And last but not least, we're going to show you how to use your story to gather people. Because truth of the matter is that there's nothing stronger than being connected to people who just understand you as you are, where you are, so you can stop explaining yourself. I want to remind you that now that you're here, you are home, and I officially welcome you to our family. All right, let's get started. Man, I am so excited about this. I got to tell you, I'm excited about this episode for a gazillion reasons, but I got to start with this. Today, in today's economy, you can stay in your office and generate $1 million. You could stay in your office and solve all of your business's problems. You can stay in your office and simply connect to every person you could ever dream of, literally around the world, if you're willing to do the work. That's what it all boils down to. You know why I'm so excited about this particular episode, and not just the episode, but really and truly the conversation that's to be had, because I remember leaving my house every single morning, and going and knocking on doors. And the truth of the matter is that I knocked on doors, and I knocked on doors ridiculously, but it was hard. It was hard to leave my home, leave my children, go knock on doors, get rejected, have people chase me out of their building, security guards. But it's just like what you see in the movies. I don't want you to think it's anything different. Like, imagine the guy running after me with his club going, come back here, or looking in that office and this office and opening doors. And what would happen? No BS. I would, no joke, I would open a door of like an accounting firm or like a dentist office if it looked nice, and I'd slip inside and close the door real quick. Because like hoping that they think I was a patient coming in. And then I would make it look like that, and then all of a sudden I was looking at all the business cards and the brochures, waiting for the security guy to come by, because I knew that if he opened the door in this particular place, go ahead and laugh. It's crazy, but it's the truth. I knew that if he opened the door in this particular place, that there is no way he could catch me for soliciting. How does he not know that I decided that my mouth was hurting 6 minutes later? I needed to walk my butt inside, and I needed to be checked out by this dentist. That is exactly how I would avoid it. Now, I've taken this long kind of journey to explain how hard it was for me to cold call. but that is how I got to my very first 6 figures. It is how I built a 7-figure business. And then I mastered teaching other people how to go knock on doors too. One of the reasons why this topic is so like detrimental, I don't care right now if you're doing 50,000, 5,000, 5 million, or you're on your way to 50. And that's million. The truth of the matter is that LinkedIn is the one place on the planet, I want to say, where all the business people are hanging out at one time. There is no networking group in your city or county or state that can duplicate what LinkedIn is doing today. Now, one of the things I really regret is not taking LinkedIn seriously when I got started. It was just too complicated. A lot of the colors were blue. It was like super boring, and I was out of the game. I wanted nothing to do with LinkedIn. I really truly felt like it was just for old white guys who couldn't connect to me, and they were writing about stiff things that I couldn't identify with, right? And I felt like just lost. So, I abandoned the idea of LinkedIn. Now, here's what's true. I did head to Facebook. Facebook, if you're listening to this, let's just be friends because you did very well. I did very well with Facebook. I built a huge community around the world, and I'm grateful for it. But sometimes I wonder if I had put the same effort in LinkedIn, what our community, people, quality of people, like things like that would have looked like. The truth is that being front row to the Dr. JERRICA Dodd and watching her grow such a huge audience organically has been something so delicious because yes, I know tons of LinkedIn experts, but then I have a self-made LinkedIn expert. Oh, that's so cool. There's a new term. It's called self-made LinkedIn experts. This is awesome. No, but it's true because what's real is that at any given time, she can turn on her phone, head to her computer, and she can make magic happen. So this is going to be one of those moments where I say, please, please, please take the time to take the pen, lock the kids outside of your room. I'm serious. Order and take out and take notes because I promise you, whatever your next business level is, it's either you getting another customer or client. That's one. Second, landing a big fish, a big whale. Let's say you've always wanted to sell to Apple, or you're like, man, I'd love to have Sony as my client, or you're like Dell Corporation. The truth of the matter is that you have all of those people at your fingertips. And maybe you're not in the first 2 categories. You're in the third. You need better partners. You need better partners. You need better vendors. You need sponsors for your events. Like, it doesn't matter what you're vying for or what the next level of is in business. But social is the name of the game. The fastest, most direct way for you to navigate through all the hoopla is to head to LinkedIn. And the best part about it is that you can do it respectively for free. So without further ado, I'm going to say, dun, 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 please welcome, bum, 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 the Dr. JERRICA Dodd to the stage.
Thank you.
Listen, it's so exciting for me, even just to have this conversation. And I know that all the time I ask you to answer this question for me. But the truth is that I figured it'd be better if we just had a collective conversation around why the hell aren't more people using LinkedIn? 2, your journey in using LinkedIn. 3, what do you feel like is the greatest opportunity today? And, I was just taking a moment to think about that moment when I said to you, so JERRICA was a client. And I said to her as she was starting her very awesome journey, I said some words to her and it changed everything. So I'm gonna ask you to kind of take us back just really quickly. You were making your 6 figures in pharmacy. You were loving traveling every day of the week to everywhere and every place. But she decided, hey, I'm going to go build something else. I'm going to go do something else. She decided to go do that. She started her business journey and she has a ton of experience. And then I say to her these words, hey, you want to know what you should do next? It's really simple. Go head to social media. So tell me what that first moment was like and where did you head first and what happened?
So social media then for me was Facebook. I didn't know. I mean, I was aware of LinkedIn. I didn't use it.
Were you scared of
very
it like
often?
Me?
It was intimidating.
It was intimidating. Yeah.
It just seemed like really stuffy. It seemed like the
upper
even though you
echelons.
saw blue, like the halls were white and it was very sterile. It was like you didn't get out of line. You didn't say the wrong thing. You had to say the right thing. That's what it felt like.
It did.
And then I think there was also my peers are here. So when I was in the pharmaceutical industry, the hardest part of the work that I did is always when you got the new job and you went through training, you would have to present to an audience of your peers. And that was more difficult than any doctor, any nurse, any other pharmacist outside of the company that you could be before, because your peers were harder to present to, and your manager. And this was like the moment, like, so LinkedIn felt like that. It felt like, oh my gosh, like these are my peers.
I'm going to agree with you. I felt the same. I don't know if it was peers, but the same stringent of I've got to be like that. It has, yes, agreed 100%.
Yeah. And so when I went to LinkedIn, I would sit and read the post like 20 times before I actually hit the enter key to post it, because even though you could edit it, because it was just
so official.
Yeah, and like you didn't want to say the wrong thing.
Like you were writing the president or something.
Yes. But I don't know, like there was no LinkedIn police or anything, so I don't know who was coming to get me. But back then I was like, oh my gosh, I can't say the wrong thing. Whereas Facebook has always had that feel like grandmama and them.
Grandmama and them?
Yeah, like they like, baby, you doing such a good job. You know, we're so happy for you. Look at you, you're beautiful. That's the feel that Facebook had for my audience there. So you love to go post on Facebook.
I think I need this to be repeated. Wait a second. I've known you for a long time. That is so good. But you're right. You're right. We're showcasing sweet potato pies. Yes, I get it completely. 100%.
People make comments about your dimples and your smile. And on LinkedIn, there's none of that. It's serious.
It's serious. It's life. It's real life. It's not lawlessness and it's not a merry-go-round. I feel like Facebook is a merry-go. You know what? This is not a conversation about Facebook. This is LinkedIn. This is supposed to be a LinkedIn expertise. But you know, this is real though. Because for the person who's in business and you say, oh, I can't be bothered with social media, it's probably because the majority of humans have a Facebook account. And over the last decade, we've all kind of gotten to the space of becoming social online. And we dove into Facebook, but we either got lost in the Facebook world, we got trapped inside of a group feeling like we're going nowhere, or you attempted to grow your business and you kept making real effort, real posts, real social media, and you keep making these things, but it doesn't really translate. It sort of translates. So then you're like, I'm doing it wrong. This is not the right place, blah, 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 blah. And the truth of the matter is that you were doing all the right things. You're just doing them on the wrong platform.
Yeah. And LinkedIn also felt stringent or tough or rough or whatever, fill in the blank, because I was also doing something that was outside the norm of my profession. Pharmacists don't do they do now, but they didn't do what I was doing. So to go to a platform where
you started a trend. Wait a second. Let's sit there for a moment. She's like, they weren't doing it before I started, but now that I started, I brought them all over. You're welcome, LinkedIn.
Well, I look at the number of pharmacists that post and the number of pharmacists that share their story and, give a more intimate insight into what they do and who they are.
For sure.
That was not how it was then. So for me to have left the industry and to be on a platform where I know, and I still know that my former management, upper like company owners, view my profile. And that's like, oh my gosh.
I know it. It's funny, even as you talk, I'm actually reminded of the many reasons why I did not fool around with LinkedIn. And, the reason why we're taking this time to walk through all the reasons why we didn't is because individually, and for me, the purpose of this entire episode is because it doesn't matter where you are. Like, I don't care where you are right now in your business game. I don't care where you are in your dreaming game. You're getting to the next level. I am telling you this year, the move is move to LinkedIn. If you are trying to grow a business without ads, so let me also highlight the purpose of this. If you're trying to grow your business this year and you're looking for an organic place where you can hang out and use organic tactics to actually grow, that's why LinkedIn makes sense. Facebook makes perfect sense to run ads. Facebook makes perfect sense. I have a very strong statement in which, man, someone from Facebook is totally going to be like, what kind of an episode is this? I didn't mean for it to be, but I want to give everyone the truth because, you know, I often, you've heard me say this many times, I believe wholeheartedly there's only two people on Facebook. People who are selling and people who are being sold to.
Yep.
I believe that with every fiber in my body. And so after, like for me, as soon as I began to build just a tiny bit of traction, and more importantly, I've got a bit more confidence in doing what we do and telling my story and then telling the company's story, I made a decision to be the person selling on Facebook, which means I'm very rarely on Facebook. I really rarely find out what people are doing. I don't really look at posts. It's almost never am I going to ever scroll. And it's kind of crazy because, you know, even with that, I still dragged my feet with LinkedIn. I remember encouraging JERRICA to explore other platforms and things like that. We both said, yeah, LinkedIn would be a great place. But I knew LinkedIn enough to be effective because I have used LinkedIn. I have been booked on LinkedIn. People reach out to me. So I know how to use it, but it wasn't a tactic. I didn't develop you know what I mean? Like a daily focus. Regardless of where you are, I want you to make the shift now. I want you to think of the rest of the year, whenever you're listening to this, think of the rest of the year and think of your goal and the goal that you have. If I told you that if you committed to 20 to 30 minutes a day and connected, talked, shared your expertise, and more importantly, became part of a collective conversation in your industry, magic could happen. LinkedIn is the perfect, for me now, I will calmly tell anybody, LinkedIn is the perfect balance between life and business.
Mm-hmm.
It is not sterile as it was before for me at all. I have watched more 4-letter words on LinkedIn in the last, no BS, in the last 12 months than I have probably in the last 30 days on any platform. You know, just like blatant, but it's around real life things. It's not cursing out the next person. It's talking about their life experiences. So really quickly, we're gonna ask some questions to JERRICA. JERRICA, how many people did you start with when you started LinkedIn?
Less than 500.
Woo! Okay, how many followers, connections do you have today?
Connections, it's headed towards 13,000, and followers, it's headed towards 16,000.
16,000 followers and 13,000 connections. 16,000 followers and 13,000 connections. Woo-wee! Okay, did you use ads to do any of that?
No.
Whoa. Did you use ads? Okay. No magic wand, no fairy godmothers. Okay. This is a daily thing. So I really want to kind of pass the mic to you and give us the LinkedIn lowdown. Help me to understand and help us understand, like, where does LinkedIn come in? But I want you to take a step back because you're a master coach and I'm I love you and you know that. And I'm super excited every time I have the luxury of watching you grow in your journey and having a front row seat. And I feel like I always get to have a front row seat to this is like my JERRICA. And I go like, this is my JERRICA. Okay. It's the truth. And I'm possessive. It's my JERRICA. Get your life together. It is my JERRICA. And let's trying to jump in the game. But the truth is that I now get to watch another scenario of what a daily commitment and a simple focus, because that's really all it is. And for the person who's like, oh, but I'm not super techy and I'm not super social, JERRICA's strategy and approach to getting a hold of creating herself a list, a foundation, a group of people, and more importantly, an audience is like nothing I've ever seen. So JERRICA, school us. Give us the lowdown.
So I think when I started LinkedIn in the beginning, it literally was just posting. Now, I would say if I had to school someone, I would say
you're schooling us. Come on, speak up.
You want to build an audience. Like, you have to build an audience, and it's really tempting to build that audience with only the people in your industry. But because that's where my leads were, that's where the ideal client is for me, women pharmacists who are in pharmacy. But I realized, yes, I was building that part of my audience, but now I need an audience that's broader. I need people that are not in pharmacy, because pharmacy is a community and that's great, but I need people that are outside of pharmacy, because outside of pharmacy, when I start connecting with people and they start seeing the content, even though the content is meant for women pharmacists, other people start going and raising their head going, oh, I need to know her.
For sure.
Oh, because you don't just need the people in your industry
No.
in order to have collaborators and vendors and what have you. So I think building that audience and understanding that it needs to be an audience of a mix of your industry, your ideal client, as well as others outside that maybe have nothing to do with what you do, because they know your ideal client.
For
they
sure.
know who you can partner with to do particular projects.
Yeah,
so
yeah, for
building
sure.
that audience was really important.
So changing, regardless of where you are, this is also going to be a masterclass in turning your business around, and on purpose, because I really truly believe with every fiber of my body that it doesn't matter where you are right now. It does matter what decisions you make after you listen to this, right? As you know, here we believe you're either doing the damn thing or you're not. And if you've gotten this far in this particular moment, it's because you've heard something that you identify with, you connect with, but don't just listen and not take action. Step number one is build an audience. You have to build it somewhere. Social media, whether you like it or not, it's not going anywhere.
Right.
Like, there are people who still have this crazy idea that, oh, I'm not going to get involved. You're going to be left behind. Let me get closer as it says. You're going to be left behind. I, as the person who never touched social media before 2014-15, like I never touched it. And it has taken me the longest time to wrap my head around transferring my sales knowledge offline to online. But I knew that I didn't want to miss the boat, but it wasn't about a fad. The world is online, and it's online 24 hours a day, not just 8 to 5 in your time zone.
Right.
JERRICA, in a moment, I'm going to probe into some of the cool things she's doing in other countries and other time zones. Hip, hip, hooray! But it's cool. It's exciting because now it's a reality. And before it was just all talk and hoopla and ideas and dreams. But the truth of the matter is that social media is here to stay. You have to choose a platform to display your expertise or your company's expertise. That's a must. And then the third place is I'm going to prefer you do it somewhere that you get to actually showcase and display. So JERRICA said something awesome. You talked about putting up a post, sharing your knowledge and expertise. People who don't even know you, who may not be women, who may not be pharmacists, they're diving in, but they're diving in because good content is good content. Period. And JERRICA now is a master in this space, as she coaches in the space of story, but really just a master in doing the damn thing. Like there's a period there. She's a master in doing the damn thing. Master in doing the damn thing. But tell me this. So you decided to build your audience on LinkedIn, and then what? What comes next?
And it has produced a platform for me to also position myself as an authority. I think it's really tempting to wait for somebody else to go, cha-ching, you are now an authority, but it does not happen. You have to put yourself in that position. You have to take that. And so even though it was daunting to first start posting on LinkedIn, I quickly had to go, no, I've got to be the authority, because I'm the outsider. I'm the pharmacist that always had a non-traditional career anyway. From school. My career is not like most. And then now I've even left the non-traditional thing that pharmacists would do to do something even more unconventional. So I have to be the authority in this space. And so in building your authority or positioning yourself to be an authority, you have to really just forget who's watching. I sometimes am shocked when I'm reminded that people are watching, because you can't focus on that. You just position yourself and say, I am the authority. I have something to say, and you need to hear it.
Did you hear what she said? She said, I'm the authority and you need to hear it. I'm the authority and you need to hear it. I'm the authority and you need to hear it. So good. So now we establish ourselves as the authority. And then what?
And then I think you have to, whether you're introverted or not, I really, when my coaching clients come to me and they say, well, I don't really want to do that social media because I'm introverted. And I say, do you want to make money? And they go, oh, yeah. Well, then introversion doesn't really matter in this equation.
Do you want to make money?
Yeah, you could be introverted.
You could be introverted all
money.
you want. You can continue to be as Yes, ma'am, that is correct.
But when I look at the clients and just the people that have come closer to me as a result of seeing me on LinkedIn, the question to get on my calendar is, how did we meet? How did you find me? Mm-hmm. And 9.8 times out of 10, it's someone would write LinkedIn.
Yep, for sure.
And whether they sent me a private message, whether they commented on a post, whether they're in my group, I built the same group on Facebook as I did on LinkedIn. And the group on LinkedIn took off with growing and the engagement. Yeah. And it wasn't that way on Facebook. And so I think that just start talking, just start sharing your story. That was weird because it was like, people are gonna listen to my story on LinkedIn, but they will.
Yes, I know, it's so cool. I love this. You know why I'm having like my own little stupid proud mama moment? I promise I am, because I'm remembering as you're talking, I'm just remembering you going, go do what? You want me to go do what? And then I was like, go do it again. And you were like, go do what again? And then you were like, all right, fine. All right, fine. I thought I heard you cuss me under your breath. I do. I think, JERRICA Coach has coached with me for 3 years plus. No, actually, maybe almost 4 now. And she's now a Do the Damn Thing coach and coaches with us. And she's amazing. But the truth is that she's the epitome of me saying to the world, stop making excuses. Most people don't know that before JERRICA started her business or even started this journey, less than 2 years before, she had brain surgery. She had a whole brain surgery. I don't even know how to. And then they had to go back in and reopen up her head. I say that, and I don't say it lightly, but like, not even to talk about my own self journey in terms of health and etc. I literally have reached a new level with humans on stop making excuses. You know what I mean? Like when JERRICA said to me once, I remember she was like, Tiffany, I've had brain surgery. That's not going to faze me. I've had brain surgery. I can handle that. I've had brain surgery. And I remember her saying something like, I just need to go do this, this, and this. Okay, great. I'm going to go do that. I'm going to go do that. You've heard the master herself walk you through how she's built an audience, but not just an audience. Wouldn't you like to have 10,000 people who are listening to what you have to say in the next 6 months, in the next 12 months? Wouldn't you like to have, she has an audience of over 20,000 people who are tuned into what she is saying, let alone the fact that she has almost 5,000 followers on Facebook as a result, because people just naturally want to follow her everywhere else. Let alone the fact that now she has spoken for all types of associations and this, that, and the third. The National Society, I'm about to say the National Society of Diabetes Holders. The National Societies of all the people, okay, doing all the important things. Because this is Dr. JERRICA Dodd, right? The pharmacist. Here's what's real. There are people who hunt her down specifically because of the leap that she took on LinkedIn, because she made herself an expert. 4 years ago when JERRICA started down this journey, when I started coaching her, nobody knew who the hell she was. Today, if you go type in her name, first go type in her name, second, then go follow her. You type in her name in Google, JERRICA's the first forever pages. She has done it. And more importantly, if she stopped today, if things got tough, if things ... JERRICA has a place to turn the fire back on.
Yes.
And it doesn't matter if your business, I don't care if you're running a small business or a big business. It doesn't matter, because I know companies who are doing $4, $5, $7 million, and the CEO couldn't take home $25,000 a year in salary. Profitability and having money, whether you're doing the problems of a $10 million business are the same as a real business doing $200,000 or $100,000. LinkedIn is the place where you turn on the gas. It's an instant place where you can ignite a fire. And even though, for you, maybe you have 200 followers or 400 followers, it might feel like a small fire. Here's the best part about it. You can start a fire.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I love most about it. And it's based on your story, expertise. It's not based on your follower count.
No.
It's not even really based on algorithms like that. It's not playing a game like possibly some other platforms play.
Well, and the thing is that whether you have 200 or whether you have 2,000 people engaging with the people, one of my sayings is you got to talk to the people because they're the ones who have the money. And in building on that platform on LinkedIn, you meet people, but you send messages and say, hey, I'd just like to learn about what you do. I mean, because there's the cold calling, and I ignore those. People getting your messages and they send the cold call and go, well, what I can do for you is, I'm like, but you don't even know me yet. So I still think that it provides you the place to build relationship, to build professional business relationships.
Totally.
So that when it gets to the point where you're like, I'm looking for sponsors, it has not been a lonely journey because you know people and you've built relationship. You don't necessarily have to talk to them every day, but there's a comfort level because they feel like they know you as well because they've been following you. They know what you stand for. They know what you're about.
100%.
Your reputation precedes you. When I called somebody and go, hey, I want to speak. And they were like, oh yeah, I already reviewed your LinkedIn profile. You're welcome.
I already know who you are. I already stalked you.
I already did that before we got on the phone call. So it also allows
like a storefront.
It allows you to have that credibility so that when you show up and it matches what they've been watching, what they've been reading, what they've been stalking, it's an easier conversation.
It's an easier sale. It's an easier conversion. It's an easier, sure, I'll sponsor. It's an easier, yes, I'll come. It's an easier, absolutely, I'll introduce you. It's an easier, yes, you can attend. It's an easier, absolutely, I would love to receive your new package. It's an easier next step. You've heard it, the JERRICA Dodd. Here's what you can't do after this. So I have just given you the lay of the land. And what you cannot do after this is you cannot sit there and just listen. I really need you to consider the possibility of taking out your pen and paper, rewinding this and going through it again. Ask yourself a question. If you're like, damn it, Tiffany, I don't even know where to ask a question. That's okay. Ask us a question. You can ask us a question. And the best part about it, which is what makes this community so amazing, is that we're actually going to answer the question. And we're going to answer the question, and we're not going to answer by asking you for $1. The truth of the matter is that truth of the matter is that you have now a place where you can go and get started. You can generate leads. You can become the expert. You can start to develop your self-community. I'm going to ask you to think to yourself, well, what industry do I belong to? What industry am I in? Like if I had to pick an industry to hang out in, if there was a place for me to develop some expertise, where the hell would it be? That is the easiest and cleanest way for you to start. Well, Tiffany, I'm not part of that industry anymore. And That's okay. Go back to that industry. JERRICA hasn't been a practicing pharmacist for years, but we are still a pharmacist in these LinkedIn streets. Period. And if it's not that, then choose your next passion. You've always wanted to be a plumber. You could have always wanted to be a plumber. Don't knock it. You could have always wanted to be an interior designer. Maybe you want to get into film. Maybe your thing is, oh my gosh, I need to dive into media. Whatever it is, I want you to consider getting started. I want you to get started now. You are amazing and you have everything you need. And I am stupidly grateful for the Dr. JERRICA Dodd. Thank you. And I love you.
Thank you. I love you too.
I hope that episode was amazing for you and you are closer to building the damn thing. I can't wait to hear what your thoughts were, what part you loved. and the action that you're going to go take, because the truth of the matter is that the person who wins is not the person who gets there first. It's the person who takes action first. Now, I've got a gift for you, and it is at www.strategist.com. It is imperative that you run there and you see all types of goodies, starting with the 7 must-haves that you've got to put when telling your story. There is so much deliciousness awaiting for you. I would love nothing more than for you to go ahead and give us a thumbs up and a 5-star review on not just this episode, but this entire series of how do you build the damn thing. Like always, if there's anything that we can do to make your week, day, or month better, please let us know. And more importantly, I can't wait to see you live, whether it's at Do the Damn Thing Live or in one of our communities, or maybe you're just hanging out with us on social media. What I know to be true is that I am meant to connect with you somewhere, and I can't wait for that day to happen. And more importantly, I can't wait to see what you build.